Steam games. Every day, new games are added, and I'm here to test whether they are true or trash. Let's get started right into today's game. So the game that I chose for today's video is Crime Scene Cleaner Prologue. Now, this isn't a full or complete game, but rather an early demo sneak peek into what the game will be when it's done. As the title might suggest, it is similar to Power Wash Simulator, but instead it has a little bit of a gruesome twist to it. The game starts out with us, as the player, resting on our couch. We immediately turn around and see a dog. His name is Dexter. We love Dexter, and we want to pet the good boy. After petting the best boy, we receive a phone call from our boss. He tells us that his wife is having an affair with another man. He, in an enraged state, kills his wife, the man she was having an affair with, and his family. So then what is our job, you might be asking? Well, our job is to clean up the crime scene and make it look like nothing had ever happened. But before we can actually get to doing our job, for some odd reason, while I was recording this, I sat down and watched about 2 minutes of a documentary that they had on their in-game TV. I have it here sped up, but I don't know why I did that. To get to the crime scene, we hop in our handy-dandy truck. Now, the truck is where we will be bringing all the trash that accumulates, as well as all the dead bodies for us to dispose of later. As we arrive and enter the gate, we are greeted by the pool, and as the character says it the best,
"Holy fuck, what a bloodbath."
Yeah, it became apparent to me real quick just how much of a mess that this was going to be to clean up. I found out pretty quickly that there's a power wash option, and being outside by the pool, I felt it would be a splash. Okay, I'm sorry, that was a terrible joke. Continuing on, I cleaned up some bullets, some blood on the pathway, I drained the pool, I cleaned up more of the blood that was in the pool, and lastly, the body that was laying at the bottom of it. While I was in the middle of cleaning the pool, I also found a key to the workshop, which is where we can unlock the main door and get into the next part. As we enter the house, we see a complete bloodbath and the body of our boss's now ex-wife. Beginning with our cleanup, I started in this walkway room. I cleaned up some of the bullet shells and the blood that was on the floor. There was also a lot of blood on some of these chairs, which I had to clean off and then put right back into place. Before I was able to put the chairs back, I noticed that one of the walls heading upstairs was completely covered in blood. One of the objectives that we were given by our boss was to clear the surveillance tapes, which ended up being a really cool hacking minigame. After completing the hacking minigame, I was able to delete, slowly but surely, all of the files. Going back to that original hallway, I cleaned up some of the blood that was on the floor. I then move over to a table where I accidentally knock a little bit of wine over, upsetting my Italian friend Evia. I then use my latent force skills to lift the drawers back into place and then push the dresser back against the wall. The next thing I tackled was the dining room. Now, that was a complete disaster. There was blood all over the floors, broken plates, glasses, bottles. Maybe that blood on the floor isn't just blood, maybe it's wine. There was also the body. This room was just a complete disaster to try and clean. I changed my attention back to the hallway where there was a bloodied painting that was in need of spraying down and correcting. I then got tired of the body being in my way, so I decided to dispose of it back into my truck in a body bag. I then proceeded to clean up the mess that I had made by deciding to clean the table full of breakables such as glass and wine bottles using my power washer, which albeit is not a great idea. Which is not the first time I do this either. I then proceed to destroy a rack of cups using a power washer. I'm supposed to be gentle here, I'm not supposed to make more of a mess. Upon entering the basement, we can see tied to a chair what we can only presume would be that the man that our boss's wife had an affair with. Now, he has 2 knives stuck into his hands. Now, this isn't going to be a hard mess to clean up, but it's definitely an emotional mess to clean up. Before I was able to start truly cleaning up the crime scene, I noticed that there were a couple boxes stacked in the back. Upon investigation, I noticed that there was a crap ton of money back there. To get started with the basement, I first removed both knives from each hand, and then I took the body out back to my truck. I may have missed the truck once or twice. The rest of the cleanup was pretty easy, there's just a little bit of blood, but I did have to get out my scrubby to scrub it because it was stuck to the ground pretty hard. Now that I have the pool, main floor, and basement done, I move on to the first floor, which is arguably the area that took me the longest to clean and complete, as it had 3 separate rooms to clean. The first room that I decide to tackle is the daughter's room, which requires me to break down the door, which I happen to do via the left-right goodnight method. I started by cleaning the blood off of the dresser, then the floors, and finally the cabinet. I then used my, again latent, force abilities to fix the dresser and push it back against the wall. I cleaned up some of the garbage that was around her room, and then next to her bed I found the axe that we used to kill her. I then took my power washer to clean off all the blood that was on her stupid little Live Laugh Love poster, and then I cleaned up all the blood that was on her bed. Unassuming that the body that was hanging over the balcony was going to fall off, I opened the door, to which the body then fell. I decided that the best way for me to clean up her body was to leave it, but it was all in good reasoning in due time. But in the meantime, I cleaned up the hallway before going into the brother's room. Immediately upon entering the brother's room, we see it is a complete gore fest. He looks to have been pulled out from his gaming desk and shot a couple of times. Immediately, I thought that with this amount of blood, I need to grab the power washer and start spraying against it as hard as I can. Earlier with the daughter, I mentioned that it would be easier to leave her body and come back for it later, and the reason because I'm going to do this. I clean up the rest of the carpet and the green screen behind him, as well as his chair, to make sure that there's no blood. Cleaning up some of the bloody footprints that are on the floor, we see that it looks like a stereotypical gamer's room, as there's a whole bunch of mess all over it as well. I proceed to put the missing drum set pieces back in place, and then I clean up all the milk cartons that are on the floor. Take care of this body, and use the hatchet to break this table, and to get rid of this body as well. After I clean up the rest of the table in that area, that leaves us to the end of everything that we have to do here. And with that, the truck brings us to the end of our mission. Overall, we scored 100%, we left no bodies or evidence to find. We cleaned up all of the blood, picked up all of the trash, and even used the force to move all the furniture back safely. At the end of our job, we ended up collecting $18,282 for our job. $3,282 of that was stolen from the building of cash and jewelry. After playing the prologue of this game, I would say that I genuinely had a lot of fun playing this. It was calming, it was straight to the point, and you kind of understood what you had to do in this game. There were definitely some points where I was a bit confused on how some of the machines work. Like the iodizer, for example, had no tutorial on how it worked, but it just said that it dried blood quicker. But nonetheless, after playing this game, I would rate it at a 9 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am so sorry that this was a week late. I've been busy with schoolwork as it is currently finals week. If you enjoyed watching, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. I upload weekly videos every Wednesday and occasional Friday video as well. If you have any other games that you would be interested in seeing me play, please let me know. I hope you guys all have a great day, and I'll see you later.